What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video today. So in today's video, I'm gonna be doing a part 2 to my different ways of approaching style. Now, I do enjoy discussing this with you guys, and also recently I was kind of talking about this with one of my friend on the different ways of approaching style and how we've done it. And these are my points in no particular order. And on top of that, this is just my opinions, of course. And because fashion is so mainstream today, I think one of the biggest things that I've personally noticed when it comes to fashion is how quickly everyone wants to hop on the new trend, hop on the designer brands. So today I thought I would kind of just touch on some of the things that I've personally done, in terms of approaching my style, and also just like a little bit of advice to maybe like the younger generation that's coming up and wants to kind of dress well. They're finding it difficult because, clothes can be quite expensive. And at the time, you don't really have that much money to spend on clothes. So today I'm going to be touching on various different points and just rambling and chatting with you guys. And of course, if you have any sort of comment with regards to this, definitely make sure to leave a comment down below. And I know it could definitely help whoever comes across this video. So without further ado, let's hop into it. So one of the first things that I wanted to talk about was patience, right? So I think honestly, when it comes to style, everyone has different ways of approaching it, right? And everyone finds it at different phases of their life. Some people are lucky enough to just kind of have like a sense of style, meaning that they don't really have to try hard. They most likely look good in a lot of clothes. And I feel like sometimes it's just also just a gift. Like some people are just able to, put two and two together, and it just always works out for them. Now, for those that are kind of like starting out, one of the main things that I did when I kind of started was, just really being patient and selective with the things that I wanted to wear, right? So I knew what looked good on me. Like I could get inspired by certain, like, let's say Instagram influencers at the time. I feel like Instagram was just starting up back in 2012. Instagram was just starting. So, I could get inspired by different influencers, but I didn't automatically go right away and cop the pieces that they were wearing. One of the things that I did was, I would find a way to incorporate some of the bits that I like from different influencers or from the blogs that I was reading at the time, and try to find a way to make it work for me. I think it's very important for you to be honest with yourself when it comes to style and know what works and what doesn't work. And in order for you to be able to do that, you need to be patient. You need to be patient. You need to, be calculating the things that you buy, and slowly look at long-term purposes of those garments that you're buying, right? Because when you're starting up, a lot of things are gonna change. So if you start splurging early, chances are you're gonna end up having a wardrobe full of expensive clothes, and you're gonna hate it within 2 years or 3 years because your style would have changed tremendously. So patience is definitely key when it comes to approaching style. At different ages, I think that you need to be patient and you need to take it step by step and start with the basics. So the other thing would be splurging. I think that when we look on Instagram and on different other social platforms, TikTok or wherever, I see so many young folks wearing such expensive designer pieces. Now, don't get me wrong. I also kind of started buying into designer pieces quite young, like I think mid-20s. But at the same time, I think that what I did for me is that I wanted to sort of develop my style in a way that I envisioned. And I think that like fast fashion retailers weren't doing that for me anymore. I had really purchased a lot of pieces from fast fashion retailers. And one of the things that kept reoccurring for me was that basically I couldn't find the right silhouette. A lot of the jeans, for example, that I would buy at Zara will be too tight in my thighs and, very loose at the bottom because I have smaller calves. So little details like that started making me think, hey, you know what? I should try to find brands that offer like a good pleated trouser, some, different shapes. And that's when I kind of started looking into like places like Essence. I already knew of the online retailer. At that time, I was kind of just playing around with the idea. I remember Andy Millamista was one of the first brands that I kind of felt an attachment to when it came to like their silhouettes and sort of the all black clothing. I was really drawn to that, right? Because at the time I was really looking for different silhouettes, you know, when it came to like jackets, coats, and more specifically trousers, because trousers was one of my main thing when I really started getting into fashion, was finding the perfect pair of trousers or the perfect pair of jeans. So when I bought my first Andy Millamista pair of pants, I remember it was a linen pair of trousers back in like maybe 2016 or 15. I remember thinking to myself like, damn, like this is probably gonna be the only designer pair of piece that I own, because they were so expensive. I think at that time they were like 300 Canadian dollars, and I wore them all the time, but I was so drawn to the shape and the silhouette of these trousers. And from there on, my thought wasn't, oh, how do I gather more designer pieces? My thought was like, okay, how do I incorporate this beautiful pair of trousers with everything that I already have in my wardrobe? That was my only thought process. It was, how do I wear the same pair of trousers and find literally 100 ways of wearing these trousers with the various things that I already owned in my wardrobe? That's why I feel like, honestly, style has to be progression. Style has to take time. It takes time to develop good style and good taste, and to just really feel comfortable in what you dress in. So the reason why I say don't splurge is that once you get your first piece of designer clothing, really try to find different ways of incorporating it into your wardrobe and wear it with as many things as you possibly can. At the time, I wasn't working for Essence, so I definitely could only shop if they had their summer or winter sale, and that's exactly what I did. So I think that summer I bought those pair of trousers, and that was it. I think I actually bought them in the winter, and that was it. That was it for the rest of the year, and I did not shop again until I think summer of the following year. So yeah, don't splurge, and definitely if you do and buy one piece, try to find a lot of ways of styling it, you know, especially if it's like a nice pair of trousers. So that will be my second point. The other thing is keeping up will have you broke, especially keeping up with social media, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, you name it. I know that like a lot of people that maybe watch my channel, watch anybody else that does like YouTube and Instagram and all that jazz, is probably also thinking about doing the same thing. And I do get a lot of questions about, how do I start a channel, or how do I start an Instagram, because I don't have that many clothes. I don't think that I'll be ready because, it looks like all the clothes that you wear are expensive. How do you afford all those clothes? And that is keeping up with people. Do not do that. I think that like when it comes to approaching style or even social media in general, one of the best things that you can do, man, is create your own lane and stick to it. If you are, a student in high school and you know that like all you can afford is just some basic white tees and some jeans and a nice pair of sneakers once in a while, then, start your Instagram based off of that. Don't try to, keep up with anybody else that might already be in designer clothes or that might seem like they have a lot of clothes, because you have to remember that like when it comes to social platforms, it really is just a highlight reel. For example, like for me, like there's so many pieces that I get gifted. Sometimes I don't even mention that in my captions, so a lot of people would think, oh, you have so many clothes, that's why you're able to do what you do. No, the reality is as you grow your platform, there's gonna be a lot of brands that are gonna wanna send you stuff and so forth and so on. So I'll definitely say that, keeping up will slow your style down, because you're gonna try to rush it, which kind of goes back to my patience first point, which is, create your own lane and stick to it. Trust that you will get where you need to get to, but on your own time. Sometimes for me, I feel like when I look at like certain Instagram pages, or if I find like a cool Instagram page, I'm usually drawn to someone that has completely different style from me and that just seems like they're doing their own thing. I think that that's always so inspiring to me, and I actually always end up finding some ways of incorporating some of the things that they wear into my wardrobe, because I think that like, even though like, you know, I work for Essence and I get a discount and I can afford some of the designer pieces, I still do love and enjoy, stopping by like a fast fashion retailer and checking out what they have for the new season, because you never know. You know, I think that like in general, I just love clothes and I want to always find different ways of incorporating different pieces. You know, like for example, I'll give you an example. Like, I recently bought like a Rick Owens hood, right? And you know, I've been styling it with so many different pieces. Like, I mean, I've styled it with a COS jacket. I've styled it with like a 7 days active bomber that I got from a brand, you know, and I just mix it and it works for me and I enjoy it because I'm at a point where I'm super comfortable with my style, that I don't need to think like, oh, you know what, if I'm dressed in a Rick Owens hood, then I need to style everything Rick Owens. Like it's really, that's not the point. I think like individuality is so important, you know, and that again is trying to keep up with the Joneses, which I would highly encourage you to not do if you're trying to approach style in the best way possible, especially if you're still young. Take your time, you know, save your money and buy clothes that you can afford. Okay, so my last point will have to be have fun with it. Honestly, as simple as that is, just have fun with it. You know, especially like because we have so many influences now. You know, we have, like I keep saying, we have all these social platforms that we are glued to. You know, when we're not working, when we're relaxing, we're just scrolling through our phones. And, you know, a lot of the times I think that like, you know, we start taking it a little bit too seriously, even though I do think that like, you know, when you start growing your platform, it is important for you to take it slightly serious and put some effort into it and try to make sure that you're influencing people in the right way, especially when it comes to fashion, because fashion can be so tacky and it can be quite fake if I'm gonna put it, you know, point blank. So I'll definitely say that, you know, one of the best things that you can do when you're approaching style is just to really have fun with it, really explore according to like sort of like, you know, your proportions, what you like wearing, and don't be shy to try new stuff, you know, new different styles. Don't be shy. Don't put yourself in a specific box, you know, like let's say if you are into avant-garde, don't, you know, box yourself in and think that you cannot wear anything else. I think one of the best things that I did at some point was I had this switch in my head, you know, once I started getting comfortable with my style, that, you know, I really just want to wear anything. I really just want to see how far I can take my style. You know, like I can go from really low end to vintage to thrifting to high end, and I can make it work. And I think that like that's when I kind of really started having even more fun with my style, because I wasn't necessarily, you know, I was thinking outside the box. I wasn't necessarily thinking, oh, because I'm wearing a Rick jacket, it has to go with my Rick boots. I just didn't care. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna wear whatever I wanna wear. If tomorrow I wake up and I feel like wearing an essentials sweatpants, then I can do that and I can find a different way of styling it, you know. And I think that that's the fun in it. Those are the other points that I kind of wanted to discuss. I hope this video isn't too long when I'm gonna edit it, because I was rambling quite a lot. I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to subscribe and leave a like. It is highly appreciated always. And if you wanna see more fits, you can follow me, of course, on Instagram, GREGNTORE. If you have any more points that you wanna add, please leave a comment down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.